In this video, I'm gonna compare the new 2023 Honda Accord to the Kia K5, and it's going to be closer than you think. We're gonna talk about some of the spec and tech and the benefits of each of these cars, and then I'm gonna show you the designs from front, side, and rear, and obviously the interior, and then let you know which one of these I would buy if I was buying one of these cars today. So let's start with the Kia K5. It sets itself apart from the competition with a unique styling, a high-tech interior, and optional all-wheel drive. The K5 also markets itself as a sporty alternative with high power output versions such as the GT. The K5 pricing starts at $25,290, and some of the highlights of the K5, for example, you get all-wheel drive, and this is something you can't get in the Honda Accord, but it's offered in the Kia K5 GT line, and living here in Colorado, this is a pretty big deal. The second highlight is, of course, the power that you get in the K5, because over the years Kia has completely transformed its image from being the anonymous gray SUV that the 75-year-old man down the streets uses to drive back and forth to Walmart to something that enthusiasts can get excited about. The K5 offers a 290 horsepower turbocharged four-cylinder engine in the top of the line K5 GT, and that type of power in this type of package is pretty rare in today's world. And then there is the warranty. Kia's 5-year 60,000 mile basic warranty and 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain warranty are numbers that Honda just can't compete with. So let's talk about the 2023 Honda Accord. It's been around for a long time as one of the most reliable family sedans out there, and it's got a brand new, very restrained look for the 2023 update with classic sedans proportions, which I think looks really clean and nice. However, it comes with a pretty basic and boring 192 horsepower four-cylinder in the lower trims, but you can option for a 204 hybrid powertrain in the upper trim levels, and pricing starts about $2,000 more than the Kia at $27,295. Some of the highlights of the new Accord is, of course, its history. Honda has been known to be some of the most reliable cars out there with a strong resale value as well for a very long time, and the new Accord definitely benefits from this. Another highlight is that they offer a hybrid version that Kia K5 does not offer. So the Sport EXL, Sport L, and the Touring package trim levels all come with the 204 horsepower hybrid powertrain, which gets you an impressive 48 miles per gallon combined. And those are numbers that you're not gonna get in the Kia K5. And then there is the tech. The 2023 Accord comes with something called Traffic Jam Assist, which essentially is a sort of autopilot in heavy traffic. It's great if you're commuting a lot and want a more stress-free experience in traffic. So with those spec and tech out of the way, let's have a look at these designs. I think both of these look really good, and both of these maybe more so the Kia has a very strong identity, specifically in the front end. I think this is clear by far the best angle for the K5. We have this heartbeat design in the lights, in the daytime running lights, and then we have the shark skin mesh in the grille in combination with the tiger nose that we've seen on so many Kia since 2008. A strong identifier for Kia, in addition to some new interesting graphic features, and it's cool to hear the ideas behind why the Kia looks the way it does. And I also like this little lip that we have. This feels like a very organic piece that goes in through the front end of the lower part of the front end, and it feels like a clean, elegant line in the lower part to separate it from the top part. And in addition, we also have a clearly defined bumper, which I appreciate, specifically when we're talking about mid and full-size sedans. Now, looking at the new Honda Accord, I made a couple of videos on this already, and I think I hear a lot of people saying that this is the only model that they think isn't a better looking than the previous generation if you compare it to the new lineup of Honda. A lot of people prefer the old generation. I can kind of see why. This looks pretty bland, but I appreciate that because we still have a nice identity in the front end with this Honda grille, with these angles, and also the headlights, and a very stripped down design even in the bottom part, with no crazy intakes in the sides or even crazy meshes in the grills. It's very traditional, and I feel it's refreshing to see brands going back to this kind of basic styling and with basic sedan proportions, which I think, when we look at the rear view, I think Honda does that better than the Kia K5 when it comes to classic clean proportions of a sedan package. But then when I look at these would both look very good with some aftermarket wheels. For example, you have the Kia K5 with some HRE wheels up here, looking fantastic. It's only thing you need to change is the wheels, and this is the effect wheels can have on a car. Make it look a lot more premium with the right wheels on it. Then the Honda Accord also looks pretty cool with some aftermarket wheels. I'm not sure if these wheels specifically fit this Accord. Maybe with these wheels I think we need to bring it down a little lower, but both of these have some clean sedan proportions that look great with some nice aftermarket wheels on them. So looking at the side view, and here you can clearly see the differences between these two. We have a much higher shoulder line in the Kia than we have in the Honda. It feels like this is a lot higher than it is on the Honda Accord, making the Honda Accord actually look slimmer than the Kia K5. And I also think that has to do with this being body colored. Now this is the GT line up here, so this is a sportier trim with a lot of body colored pieces instead of having them be black like we have here, for example, cutting down the overall weight of the side view and making it look even slimmer by having those graphics in place on the Honda Accord. And looking at the trim piece around the window, feels very simplistic on the Accord, very classy, while the Kia goes crazy with all their models right now, having this chrome piece being thicker here and then stretches and kind of goes into the rear window there. So the Kia is a lot more complex design than the Honda Accord, and you can clearly see that in this area, for example. Just look at how subtle this bumper is on the new Accord, and also the graphics. There's no crazy curvatures going on or no crazy intakes or outlets like we have in the Kia, but at the same time that makes the Kia look and feel a little bit more sporty than the Accord. Now looking at the rear view before we look into the interior, and then I'm gonna let you know which one I would buy of these two. I'm really not a huge fan of the tail end of the Kia K5. I don't think it looks strong enough. It has some weak styling to it that makes it not as solid as the Honda Accord down here. This is a gorgeous rear end with clean graphics, simple lines and structures, and clearly defined areas. For example, this bumper is clearly defined without any mess in this area like we have in the K5, and these taillights look more solid and stronger than they do on the K5. I'm not a huge fan of this type of LED when we have just one thickness of the LED going through the entire car. I would rather have some dynamic feeling in here. Maybe make this a little thicker like this to create some sort of interesting features to look at in the taillights. I would probably want to have this be a solid light bar as well going across the entire rear end. And here you can also see this chrome piece that I talked about that I don't think this looks good, having it kind of like a weird organic arm in the rear end. It kind of hugs the rear window. It's a lot of styling, but it's pretty much in Kia tradition to have these type of details on their cars. One thing I do like about the K5 in the GT line are that we have quad exhausts, where on the Honda you can't even see where the exhausts are. They're completely hidden in the new Accord. So it feels like this is the elegant choice, while this is the more sporty choice of these two cars. Now looking at the interiors, they feel pretty similar to each other with the layout and positioning and the housing for the gauge cluster. Both of them have them right here, as you can see. But what I love about the Kia is that it goes the BMW route. So having this being slightly angled towards the driver. You can see that this whole panel, everything, all the controls are slightly angled towards the driver, hinting that this is a driver's car, and I really like that. I also think this integration of the infotainment screen is decent. It's not the best because it still looks like it's just stuck on here randomly, but it does follow the curvature of the gauge cluster housing, which I think is a nice touch. And I also like the simplicity of having 3 parallel lines like this for the passenger side. It looks clean and also brings some elegance into the Kia design. But looking at the Honda, this is definitely my preferred interior between these two. I think this looks super clean and nice and crisp, modern with these 2 lines, and then you have this mesh or pattern right in the middle between these lines, and it stretches all across the interior. And we still have a digital gauge cluster with the housing for it, which I appreciate, and a totally big enough infotainment screen. You don't need the infotainment screen to be bigger than this. And it feels like it's decently integrated in the dash as well. Maybe not as well as in the Kia, but still it doesn't really bother me when I see this interior of the Honda. So which one of these would I choose? Well, I'm gonna get straight to the point. I'm gonna choose the Kia K5 GT line for a couple of reasons. First of all, it has all-wheel drive, which is necessary specifically here in Colorado when it's snowy, and it also has an 8-speed transmission, automatic transmission, while the Accord only comes with a CVT, which isn't the most exciting driving experience. And then of course you have the power, 290 horsepower versus 204 in the Accord. Now yes, the GT line costs a little bit more than the top of the line Honda Accord, but I think it's still worth that increase just based on what you're getting in specifically the GT line.